Hello and welcome to Georgia Bulldogs Live here on the Georgia Voice of College Football. I'm your host, Matt Green. My co-host over there, Bo Underwood. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you?
Bring in the energy, Bo. I need you to
Dude,
bring more
I'm,
energy there.
I'm doing great,
There you
Matt.
go.
How are you?
Fantastic. I became that youth like pastor, like
I know.
speaking, like I can't
I
hear
can't
you. Good morning. That's not loud enough.
hear. Oh my god.
No, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm good, man. It's we're back talking college football like we do every week. Yeah, not a lot going on. Outside, I feel like that Braves Reds little NASCAR thing was a total dud.
Yeah.
Uh, that was just terrible. I was actually like, once it got close, I was like, maybe I am kind of excited to see this game. I feel like it was the same thing with Tennessee Virginia Tech a few years back. It was like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why we're doing a non NASCAR event in a NASCAR stadium, but then once you got close to it, it's like, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Really geared towards middle America, that one.
Yeah,
For
to
sure.
see maybe is this Tennessee's tryout to like get a an MLB
Yeah.
team. I
That
know they're
maybe
always
that's
pushing.
what it is. But
I know
also,
they're
the Braves have a monopoly on that entire state. So
I know, just the South in general. I don't want another. I don't
I,
want
I
another
don't
team in the
either.
South.
Like
This is
it's a
Braves
point of
country.
pride as a Braves fan to just like have the whole South on lock the way that we do.
Exactly. And I've had conversations with like Alabama fans and different people before. It's like the
Yeah.
most diehard, like
It's
crazy
nice.
fans in American sports in the SEC. And then we all kind of come together for the Braves.
It's really nice. It's like one of my favorite things about like SEC football fans is like you can get in a huge argument with some Alabama guy or like Ole Miss guy or Tennessee guy about football, but then it'll be like I love the Braves though, and it's like yeah I love the
yeah,
Braves.
there
Like
you go.
you always have that, unless the guy just doesn't watch
And
baseball.
yeah, and the folks at home are thinking well, the Marlins and the Tampa Bay Rays both play in the Southeast, but I've never met a Marlins or a Tampa Bay Rays fan. So I know they exist, but I've never actually seen one. So
Yeah,
I remember renting a car in Vegas, and this dude was a Braves fan because of the superstation and all that. So yeah, the Braves carries a little more weight than the Marlins and the Rays.
yeah. I don't even consider Florida part of the Southeast anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just
They're
some
off.
other
They're off
shit.
doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Peninsula. So, sir, we are 25 days till college
Yes.
football season. Those who saw in the thumbnail when they clicked
25.
this video went all the way back to, I would say that's 2006 was his senior year. Trey Battle. He didn't have the most illustrious Georgia career by any means, and he followed a damn strong like era of safeties. It was like Sean Jones, to Thomas Davis, Greg Blue, and then you might forget about Trey Battle there. But 2006 Georgia Auburn game is literally the game where Georgia's domination of Auburn started. It was like Georgia mentally defeated Auburn that day, and they were never worried about Auburn ever again. Is the craziest thing. I think Auburn was like number 5 or number 6. Georgia had just lost. Did they just lose to Kentucky or something? I'm thinking Georgia lost 4 out of 5 games in that stretch for Stafford's freshman year. It was just not going well. And then just go out and absolutely blast the Auburn Tigers. Trey Battle, 3 interceptions, including the pick 6. That's my number 25, sir.
Yeah, I don't have a great one really because I just feel like the first 25 that I thought of is somebody that I was gonna let you talk about because you've gone on record before saying you love this guy.
I think I know
So
which way. I think I know where you're
yeah,
going because I wrote
which
him down as
it's a
well.
guy that Georgia is affiliated with a moment that is not fondly remembered around here. But I guess with my 25, I thought it was interesting. There's not a number 25 on the current roster, by the way. I just don't think they have one. I looked at it earlier.
Oh, is that right?
But I'll go with Quay Walker, who I know was not actually wearing number 25 in his days as a starter for the team mostly. But I don't care because it still counts, and I need to pick somebody. And also, Quay Walker did wear 25 just after his legendary recruitment moment where he, pretended to put the Tennessee hat on and then discarded it and put on the Georgia one. So I still think it counts because I still associate that moment with number 25 Quay Walker and not number 7 Quay Walker. So yes, I have chosen Quay Walker as my number 25. I just wish he didn't play for the Packers.
Yeah, I respect that. Quay Walker, like I was showing you before the show, my screensaver on my phone that I update for the Georgia countdown, I still included Quay Walker in the 25 countdown. But no, the guy you are alluding to is Josh Harvey Clemens, sir. The one of the greatest what could have been stories, I feel like, at Georgia. Just an insane athlete. I wish we could have seen him, like I've said before, in that star position in a Kirby Smart defense. Just super versatile. I'm pretty sure Alabama recruited him to play wide receiver at a Lowndes, and he was kind of listed as like a linebacker, like safety, basically. He was like 6'4", 210 or something coming out of high school. But and then he had the whole signing day thing back when signing day was like an event. I think that was the 2012 class, I want to say.
Yeah.
Because the 2013 class was the one that got Mark Richt fired. There was like almost none of those players panned out. No disrespect to 2013, but there wasn't a lot. And it was a huge class. I think it was like 30, 35 people. And almost like all of them didn't pan out. And that was the year Georgia was so loaded. The state of Georgia was so loaded. We missed on everyone. But we won't get back into that.
Hey, Leonard Floyd panned out.
There you go.
Bryce Ramsey did not.
Yeah, and I think Brandon Cublano, is one of the better players in that class.
Kobe Johnson. John Atkins was a good player for them for a while. But
John Atkins, yeah.
Dude, yeah, these are a lot of
that Trey Matthews and Shaq Wiggins in that class.
Yeah, that both of them.
Yeah, and it was the class that had Kim Dichie and Reuben Foster and Alvin Kamara and Montravius Adams and Laramie Tunsil, just like all of these dudes, and we whiffed on all of them on signing day. Yeah, but
the biggest value out of this class was probably getting Davin Bellamy as a 3-star.
Davin Bellamy. That's the one guy that they got on
guy that he had like Brendan Douglas was in this class, like Quincy Mage was in this class.
Oh, there you go.
Reggie Carter was a pretty good player, but like a lot of these guys, just didn't do anything anyway.
Quincy Mage is another one of those that I feel like when Georgia gets like any kind of duo, whether it's like a same position or like teammates, the lower ranked one always seems to be the better player. Like Brendan Langley, I remember, was the big time corner that year, like a top 50 player or something. And I think he did end up getting to the NFL. He went to like Lamar or some like random college, but he actually did end up getting to the NFL. But Brendan Langley was the more big time guy from Kell High School in Marietta.
Shout out Kell.
But Mage ended up being like a 2 or 3 year starter. Like he was real solid for Georgia.
Yeah,
that Jacob Eason versus Missouri. Is that what you just said?
He had a sick interception in that game.
Yes, that was like the game change. Like I think Missouri was about to come like
they would
seal the game.
Yeah, they would have lost. They would have lost that game if he doesn't make that play.
And I think he had 2 picks in that game.
Yes, he did.
If I'm not, that's right.
I'm pretty sure he did.
That's those are the things my mind remembers, sir. The Georgia Missouri game from 2016.
Dude, the Georgia Missouri game for 2016 was awesome. Like it was a sick game.
It was an all timer for sure. Isaiah McKenzie, Jacob Easton, Isaiah McKenzie. That was big time stuff. Yeah. Was that the second game of the Kirby era?
It was the third. It was his first ever SEC win, though. It looks like here.
Okay, so maybe that's either like the week before or after Nichols, after they almost lost to Nichols.
It indeed. So yeah, they beat North Carolina the first game, and then they basically lost by 50 to Nichols, even though they won by 2. Then the game after that was Missouri.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then after that, they got waxed by Ole Miss. but
waxed by Ole Miss, and then the Tennessee
probably
game was pretty early,
that's
right?
probably
The Hail
all the
Mary.
recapping of the 2016 season we need to do for one episode.
Well, let's finish that off. Is it Tennessee the week after Ole Miss?
Yeah, it was.
Oh man, just think about like what Kirby Smart experienced in like his first 5 games as a head coach.
Okay, and then all right, last bit I will do here is they beat South Carolina after that, which I barely remember any of that game, and then the week after that they lost to Vanderbilt at home, and I was there.
Oh, that's right. The little
hell of
toss
a
sweep to Isaiah McKenzie on 4th
They ran a
down.
friggin' jet sweep.
Yes, that South Carolina game was on a Sunday, because it got
because of the hurricane.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I remember, I want to say Brent Musburger was on Georgia's game, and Brent Musburger is kind of famous for one being kind of inappropriate during games, but also like throwing in betting stuff here and there. And I think Georgia's like a 5 or like a 7.5, 8-point favorite or something. And they scored to go up a touchdown. And then Terry Godwin returned the onside kick.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Touchdown.
South Carolina cut it to 7. Yeah. And then he returned the onside kick for a touchdown. And Musburger was like silent. Like Musburger did not have that bet. That's
hilarious.
I remember people talking about that. But yeah, we'll reminisce enough about the 2016 season. But yeah, Josh Harvey Clemens ended up having at least one solid year, I think, at Louisville.
We were supposed to be talking about Josh Harvey Clemens
with Grantham, yeah. But I also, this one's debatable. Bill Hartman, who I think is the same guy as the Hartman Fund, like to donate for like season tickets. Yeah. I think it's the same guy. 1937, he was inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame, like the 80s. But his picture on the National Football Foundation website is number 49. And there's also a picture of him wearing number 25. So I don't know.
Well, was it? I mean, you can't. It's hard to tell back then what football uniforms were. That could have been a uniform for like an NFL team.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, it looked like a sweater with like a
they don't look like uniforms at all. Like back in the day. I literally just today I published like a 20-minute YouTube video of me like breaking down the history of Georgia's alternate football uniforms. Check it out if you haven't. Audience.
Oh yeah.
No, I had to cut out this whole part where I was like, they didn't even have football uniforms back then, so we can't really talk about these because they would just wear like sweaters.
Just a group of guys just show up wearing the same color.
That's that's literally what they would do. It didn't even have to be the same color. They just have to be dressed in something.
My brother played basketball at Piedmont College. It's up in Demarest, Georgia, D3. And this dude, Johnny Mize, who was like a Hall of Fame baseball player for the Yankees and like Cardinals, I think like the 20s, 30s, 40s or something. Like, I think he's like a 500 home run club guy, the big cat. And it's like, there's like no record of him ever actually being at the college. It's just like, he just played on the baseball team. He just like lived in the area or something.
He just showed up and played baseball.
It's like 1920. Awesome. It's like, yeah, this guy can play.
He can be on our team.
But yeah.
He lives around here.
But yeah, the big cat, Johnny Mize, shout out on the pod.
We've had some incredible shout-outs today. We need to get on track.
Yeah, let's get on track. 25 days till college football, sir. Oh, last thing about that Trey Battle 3-interception game. That day, Brandon Cox completed the same number of passes to Georgia as he did his own team. 4 for 12 for 35 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. Also, Stafford with 7 carries for 83 yards. Really showing his wheels.
Stafford getting
exactly.
Spry.
Bobo was loving that QB draw game.
Dude, you're not going to see him run the ball 7 times all season next year with the Rams.
Not if they can help it.
No, they're not going to let him. Yeah.
Stafford underrated athleticism.
Oh no, Stafford's crazy.
Days.
Dude, trust me. I watched it every week. Like because he's also just like insane. And like doesn't care, so like he will put his body in so much danger. Like if Matthew Stafford's entire body is going to get vaporized, but he's still going to get a third down conversion with his legs, he'll still do it, you know. And then he is a crazy person. He still is.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Auburn game was the first game where he was rocking that helmet because he got a concussion or something against Kentucky. And he's been
face
rocking
mask.
that same helmet and face mask ever since. But yeah, 25 days till college football season. As far as a programming update goes, starting next week, we will be officially Mondays at 7 p.m.
Mostly officially.
Okay, so we will be. So if you want to check our show out live, and I appreciate everyone who's tuning in live right now. Please like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. We'll be coming to you Mondays at 7 o'clock moving forward. And speaking of the 25 days till college football, let's segue that into our first top 25 poll of the year has been released, sir. And I should have made a graphic for this. I honestly, I was dropping the ball there, but I thought this was perfect. I think most Georgia fans will probably agree. I love this initial top 10. Texas number 1, Ohio State 2, Penn State 3, Georgia 4, Notre Dame 5, Clemson 6, Oregon 7, Alabama 8, LSU 9, and Miami at number 10. What are your first thoughts on this first coaches poll of the season?
I think Georgia's about where I would have them. That's interesting. They got 3 first place votes, which is interesting. Texas sure is getting a lot of hype, and I get it. They are going to be really good. Personally, I think I would still have Ohio State at number 1 just because they won the title last year, and Ohio State is just one of those programs that I feel like if they win the title, even if they lose a lot of talent, you can always count on them having a bunch of insane guys coming back. And it's like, I don't know. Texas has
do you think that's how it should work in general? If you win the championship, you start number 1 the next year?
No, because if you lose your entire team, then maybe then we need to be realistic. And I know that Ohio State did lose a ton of starters. You can probably show me a whole list of all the starters they lost, but they have guys. They have they're replacing Will Howard with Julian Sayin. They'll be fine. And Texas has returned changing a lot of they have a lot of roster turnover too. And it's just kind of getting treated like it's not roster turnover because it's oh, they have Arch Manning, which he's still a new starter, guys. I understand we all think he's going to be really good, but we can't be treating him like he's a known commodity when he really isn't. So I would flip Texas and Ohio State personally, but I don't have really a bunch of strong. I look at this list, there's no one that I'm just how are they on here? Maybe Michigan, they're probably a little too high, but yeah,
Where is Michigan? I only have the top 20. I've read the top.
Michigan
10
is at Michigan is at 14, which is interesting. But my cousin Bryce Underwood is going to do really well over there, so I think 14 is probably fine the more I think about it. But yeah, the top 10 I think is Miami. Miami's another team that lost a ton of talent on both sides of the ball, but I guess you're counting on a lot of that to be mitigated by getting Carson Beck. And I know Carson Beck is a sore subject around here, but so I'll be careful when I say this, but I don't know if adding Carson Beck is enough to offset everything else you lost when you're Miami to still stay as a preseason top 10 team, but I don't think they're terribly overranked or anything, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable that Carson Beck just has a little bit of a bump from going to the ACC, probably a couple more touchdowns, a couple fewer interceptions. And it's if he does that, that's a 34, 35 touchdown season, 8-9 picks. I think that'll work. Yeah, I mean, I think after that, because after Miami, I feel like it's a drop off because it's they had Arizona State and Illinois. And then, you just don't know where to rank any of those SEC teams. We do this every preseason and have 9 SEC teams in the first top 25. And then it's it never ends up that way. But I mean,
it's half of them go 8-5 and we look like assholes.
Well, and it's I struggle because I think you should rank the teams who you think the 25 best teams are. I don't like when people do their preseason top 25 kind of guessing how the season is going to go. Because then I think you're kind of counting someone's schedule twice. You're Illinois sitting here at 12. If you're well, they don't really play anybody, so they'll probably finish number 8, and then you put them at number 8. I think that doesn't make sense personally because it's well, now you're kind of doubling it, double counting it a little bit. So outside of the top 10, I'm not sure there's anyone that's like egregious. It's interesting seeing Florida and Tennessee at 17, 18.
Yeah, Florida is insane being ranked, dude. What are we doing? Sorry.
It's the hype on Lagway, man. It's just it's all DJ Lagway. Like obviously they have returning guys and stuff, but it wasn't
Who
a great
are they?
team. It was no, that's true. I know people hype up their
They don't have returning guys.
I think Phil Steele had them in like top 5 defensive lines or something like that, or top 10 defensive lines.
They honestly they might be having some addition by subtraction on the defensive line because they don't have that like 500-pound guy anymore who was like not a good player, but like
what was it, Desmond?
Big, so people thought he was. Maybe their D line is good now. Actually, they do have some talent now. Give them.
No, I mean, I'm not here to hype up Florida by any means. No, and so, like, if you think Florida is top 15, but their schedule is so tough, you're like, they're not going to finish top 25. It's like I also don't think that's right logic. Like that goes essentially what I just said. So they could legitimately be a top 15 team that has to play 7 teams that are ranked higher than them this year. And because it's like Miami's another one of those teams they have to play to go with their SEC schedule.
Yeah, that does. Man, their schedule is really hard. That does suck. That's what sucks about like being in that position as like we're a top 15 caliber team, but we're not even top 5 in the SEC. And then it's like, because if you're that good, but you're not good enough to be at the very top, level of the SEC, then just like no one believes you. Because it's like you're sitting here and you're like, no, we are really good. Like we're in terms of just the quality of our team, we're top 15 in the country. And it's like, well, you have 4 losses. So that makes me think that no, you don't. It's just it's a paradox, I guess. It's just that's what kind of sucks now about college football homogenizing the conferences so much to where there's like 2 good conferences. Is like that's going to happen more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah, and people talk about Kirby like he's just some sort of like homer and like just SEC people are so delusional. But like you're seeing some of the best teams in the country when you're watching the SEC. And so you have to figure out how you're going to evaluate all these conferences together. Like the most recent Dynasty mode I was just playing in had like 2 SEC teams finish top 10 because they're all cannibalizing each other.
Yeah.
I'm sure the same thing's going to happen in real life. You just have to figure out how to evaluate them. I'm looking at Florida's stats defensively from a year ago. Okay, I was missing it. I was like, surely this Desmond Watson dude, that's the 400-pounder. I think he's on Tampa Bay. I'm like, surely he recorded a tackle. I'm looking down this thing. I'm like, I cannot find this man's name. But yeah, he had 20 tackles last year. Played in all 13 games. 0 tackles for loss. Did I read that? How can you be a defensive lineman and play in all 13 games and have 0 tackles for loss? I'm sorry. I don't know if you've seen the videos.
Tackles for loss are hard.
Of course, but I don't know if you've seen the videos from Tampa Bay where like this man literally isn't practicing.
They don't they can't let him.
It's insane. He's such a huge this man for his livelihood. He needs to lose probably at least 100 pounds.
Yeah, and they lost.
It's crazy.
Didn't they? Oh wait, no, they still have Caleb Banks. I think because he's got like a bunch of eligibility. So their D line is pretty good.
Yeah, and Eugene Wilson, is he still Eugene Wilson's still at Florida? He's shined at times, so I think he was hurt some last year.
On offense, I mean, their offense is gonna be pretty good because I mean they have that running back coming back, Ball. I don't think he went.
Yeah, as a true freshman, he had a really good year.
Defense, they had some pretty good pass rushers last year. I don't think they're all coming back, but I don't know, man. 17 seems pretty high for a team that was not good last year.
Yeah,
I don't know. They did have a really good end of the year. I forgot.
Yeah, they finished the year strong.
LSU and Ole Miss at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. We'll see. The Ole Miss thing was definitely shocking. I just love Texas being number 1 because Texas, everyone's hyping Arch Manning like he's, the greatest gift college football's ever seen. So I feel like just keep that same energy. Like they should be number one, because if this is a disappointing season, we need to look back at, this is the team everyone hyped,
The pressure is on them for sure.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting. Texas with 28 first place votes, Ohio State 20, Penn State 14, Georgia 3, Notre Dame didn't get any, and then Clemson got 2.
Clemson getting 2.
I think that kind of speaks to how uncertain the elites in college football feel right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Georgia at 4, I'm loving that. I think I wouldn't have hated if someone had Georgia at 8. You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't either.
I'm kind of we've talked a lot about we don't know what to expect from this Georgia team. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of respect for Georgia actually giving them some first place votes. It's a little surprising. And Brett McMurphy, one of the more prominent college football reporters, picking Georgia to win it all. I was like, a little surprised by that.
I certainly would not have picked Georgia as given them wow. I certainly would not have given Georgia a first place vote. That's pretty wild that they got 3. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, I agree with you being like, you could put Georgia at 8 and I wouldn't sit here and yell at you or call you dumb, because it's like, they could exist anywhere from 1 to 10. We like straight up do not know how good this team is just because there's so many unknowns. So I know the team is not going to care. And if you ask Kirby Smart, what do you think of the ranking? He would say, I hate you, get out of my face. Don't ever ask me about rankings again. But like, so, but
you sound like you're speaking from experience there.
Pretty sweet. I think it's a pretty sweet deal for them to get to number 4. Yeah, no, that actually one time I asked Kirby Smart about, I was like, Kirby, what do you think of your team's ranking this week? And then he shot the lasers out of his eyes and blew me up. I haven't been back since.
So yeah, Georgia getting disrespected. People think we're going 8-4, guys. Put it on the bulletin board right now. Georgia Gal 12 chiming in here. Do you guys think that with all the conferences merging, we'll get better rivalries or the erosion of traditional rivalries? That is a good question. I think you've already, maybe because I'm a traditionalist, I feel like you've already seen the erosion of some rivalries, like in the SEC, the Florida Auburn being one, for example, that was played on a regular basis. There's just certain ones that you just LSU Auburn, another one I feel like was like a great rivalry that we just don't get every year anymore because of the no divisions. There's going to be a lot of those. I feel like that happen. But I mean, you've already seen something like Georgia, Texas, that's already like becoming a rivalry after like a year in the conference. Like what these teams are doing on the recruiting trail, and the fact they had a rematch in the SEC championship, and they're going to play again in year 2. I don't know what does your gut tell you on this?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like the new conference stuff has implications for like everything in college football, and it does. Like, yeah, you do get like new rivalries out of it, like Georgia Texas, but also like I don't think the Georgia Texas rivalry is that much different from the Georgia Alabama rivalry that we started to see, when Kirby Smart got there. It was just they were always playing each other in big games, and I get that like Texas had to join the SEC for that to happen, but still. And I guess you do like one byproduct of Texas joining the SEC was we got the A&M rivalry back with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, and for the most part, I do agree with you that I think overall all the conferences merging is a bad thing for college football rivalries, just because whenever the conferences are bigger like they are, or I guess 2 of them are much bigger now, there's less games, or there's less possible matchups that you can play. There's less teams that are going to remember each other from last year, that sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know. It kind of sucks across the board with how there's basically 2 power conferences now, and then everything else is second rate, and then everything else is just trash. But I kind of think, yeah, we are going to lose a bit of that sense of tradition, because anytime you take like regionality out of college football and you take out, those state by state rivalries or cross state rivalries, like it just doesn't feel the same anymore. Like the ACC having Cal and Stanford in it playing Georgia Tech and Virginia, like how is that supposed to be like a Do you see what I'm saying? Those
Yeah.
teams can hate each other, but like, how is that supposed to be like how is that supposed to feel like what a traditional, so to speak, rivalry
It
feels like?
feels like it can only be a Georgia-Alabama type of rivalry. Like,
Mhm.
I almost compare, and that's not the same, but like UConn, Tennessee, how those women's basketball
Yeah.
programs just became rivals. It's like if we're playing each other in this many big games, you're rivals.
Mm.
But you look at like you said, Cal and Stanford have rivalries with USC and UCLA. You know, it's like with Oregon and Oregon State and stuff. At least we're keeping Oregon State and Oregon and Washington State. At least those programs are keeping that right now. But like Oklahoma's not playing Oklahoma State. Like that's a huge loss for the college
Yeah.
football world. You know, Pitt, West Virginia was a huge rivalry that we lost there for a
Mhm.
couple of years, and now that one's back. But like you just go back to like even the other like realignment periods, like from the SEC going to 12 teams. I'm sure that affected Georgia playing Clemson basically every year, you know?
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
like the more you expand, it's like it feels like we're losing more than we're
Yeah.
gaining. I personally I felt like the first two games, the SEC, Georgia, South Carolina kind of started to become, once Spurrier got there, started to become one of those first
Yeah.
exciting games of SEC play,
Spurrier
you know?
hates Georgia.
But yeah, but it was like Tennessee, Florida, and like LSU, Auburn. I always felt were like
Mhm.
those first like September, like big SEC games. And I mean, this is going to be the second year in a row now, right? Yeah, the second year in a row that we don't get Auburn, LSU. And that's
Yeah,
just,
that's whack.
that's a shame to me.
Yeah, I
So
forgot
great,
that
great
Bedlam doesn't
question.
exist anymore. That
Yeah,
really
that's,
sucks.
yeah, for sure. It's,
Yeah.
and
Overall, it's a negative thing. I think we'll get some better rivalries out of it, but like it will be a net negative.
yeah, I think like for a national fan, like Oregon Ohio State becomes a rivalry or something because they're playing in a bunch of games. Like that's cool. But the actual like the true rivalries are they're built like
Yeah,
Oregon and Oregon State, you know,
exactly.
and like these close proximity type of
Mhm.
games. So Oregon and Washington, I guess they can still have a rivalry in the Big Ten. But
Both in the Big Ten.
yeah, it's just weird. But great
Ugh.
question, Georgia Gal. Let's move to our next segment. Netflix documentary, sir.
Oh yeah.
Any Given Saturday. Is it out yet? Have you watched it?
I think it's out now.
Is it out like today or yesterday? I think.
It yeah, I think it literally released like today.
Okay.
Yeah, it literally yeah, it got released today. I have
Are you
not watched it yet.
excited? Are you excited about this documentary? So
I
Georgia and
I mean,
Alabama, coincidentally, the winners of the last 5 SEC championships, are opted out of this documentary. But what are your thoughts about it?
yeah, I'm gonna watch it just for like Hugh Freeze content, I think, more than anything. But I mean, it'll be cool, man. I've never watched, so I know that the show that it's kind of based off of is the F1 show, which I
Oh, is that right?
forgot the exact title of it, but it's the show that it's like the Netflix documentary style show that chronicles, the F1 season, and it goes behind the scenes and it takes you and it shows you all the drivers and everything, and it's really cool. It's apparently I've seen a few minutes of it. And it's like it's if you wanted to get into F1, I would definitely watch that. Um, I haven't seen that. I have watched Quarterback though and Receiver, which are the shows that Netflix did where they take like 3 NFL quarterbacks and just follow them
Yeah.
around the whole season, and they did the same thing with receivers. And like that stuff is really good. So I have no doubt that like the camera crews and the people doing the interviews and everything will make a good product, but it's gonna be cool to see something that's like as like self mythologized as college football is, where it's all these coaches are like, there ain't nothing like college football on Saturdays and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
there's just all this tradition and the lore behind it. Like it'll be cool to pull the curtain behind on that if that's indeed what they do. And I'm sure a lot of it is gonna be very sanitized and you know, the SEC is not gonna want to put certain stuff in there and everything, but like overall, like I'm excited for it for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering. Like the SEC Inside weekly show that SEC Network does is kind of along this lines. But yeah, the first thing I thought of was the quarterback and receiver, and those were good. I feel
Mhm.
like I feel like they were good, not great. Like I feel like after watching the first one, now that the QB one has a second, there's like a second season. I feel like I've seen it. Like I don't know. I mean, maybe was it Joe Burrow? Who's in the second?
It was Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins.
So
like, I mean, I'm a Lions fan, so they had me hooked because they Jared Goff. So
that's fair. And Joe Burrow's a big star, and Kirk Cousins, like that's kind of a cooler storyline.
It was an interesting thing because he got benched in the middle of the season.
So given those varieties, so maybe I'll check out the second one. I haven't watched that one yet.
It's good. I mean, you should watch it. But
I did like Kirk Cousins a lot more after watching the first one.
Yeah.
Who was it? Cousins. Who were the first the first quarterbacks they did?
It was Kirk Cousins, Pat Mahomes, and
that's right.
The third one was like, who was it?
Why am I blanking on it now?
I can't remember who it was. It was it was Mariota. It was Marcus Mariota. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, they did not dig enough into the Mariota stuff. It's tried to just had surgery and whatever going on. I don't know, man. You left the team like right after you were told you weren't the starter anymore. That was pretty weak. But as long as it's better than the Florida Swamp Kings documentary, then it will be better. That was the most disappointing documentary I've ever watched, honestly. Like there's so much scandal. It was just like
they just didn't talk about any of it.
Yeah, and it was like a perfect like storytelling trope, like a mediocre or a meteoric rise, and then it
was perfect.
Whatever the term is, like just the downfall. I
mean, like for years, people were posting online like, "Oh, can't wait for them to make a documentary about this Florida team, team." Blah, 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 like all and like dude, like Tim Tebow, Percy Harvin, Aaron Hernandez, the Pouncey twins, Cam Newton, like. The list goes on, like of just Urban Meyer was the friggin' head coach. There were so many insane people on that team, and the documentary they made was Boy Scouts United, bro. It was
and it was like let's. I'll keep my language clean. Let's just love on Florida for an hour and a half. That's basically what it was.
The whole documentary was like being on the team was so great. We all had Bible study together and we held hands. It's like
it's like especially because like. They laid out that it was clearly built on shaky foundation. It was like the stars. There's like an inequality in the locker room based on like who plays and who doesn't. It's like, and then based on that foundation, they crashed and burned. It's like,
and they were so dismissive of Chris Leak in the documentary. I remember having an issue with that. Was like, there's some line in there. They're like, our quarterback before Tim Tebow was trash. His name was Chris Leak, and it's like, dude, Chris Leak was good. Like. I don't know. There are so many different issues with that documentary. It was really disappointing.
Yeah, because I remember like Carlos Dunlap like got a DUI like the week of the SEC championship. Like he fell asleep at like a red light or something.
I don't even think they brought up the Pouncey twins one time.
It's just crazy how they go from win a championship 06, win championship 09, go undefeated until the Bama game as the championship win it all in 08, I mean. Then go undefeated
and then you have that famous shot of Tebow in tears on the sideline.
And it's like, and then by 2010 they're just mediocre and Urban Meyer leaves. It's like this is the story. What are we doing? But no, that was so disappointing. But I think I'll give this a shot. I don't know if you watched the Saturdays Down South. It was like a 6 or 7 part thing that SEC Network did.
I saw some.
It was like each decade or each era kind of thing. Yeah, that was really good.
They aired it like one time, and I caught like a little bit of it. It was good.
Yeah, but that was pretty good. So I'll check this out for sure.
Yeah, it's disappointing to not have Georgia in it, but also I'm kind of glad. Like I remember like a couple years ago the Lions got announced on Hard Knocks, and like a part of me was like, sweet, my favorite NFL team's gonna be on Hard Knocks, but also I was like, shoot, like this is bad. Like you don't want to be on Hard Knocks. Like NFL teams hate it. So I'm glad that Georgia was allowed to like opt out because Kirby Smart there's not a man in America that would hate that more. Did you see? Apparently there was this might have been wrong, but I saw on Twitter someone was like the Netflix documentary coming out today. There was a clip or someone heard Kirby Smart in practice yell at his players. He's like, if they made a Netflix documentary about you this week, would you watch it? Like, I really hope
That's
that's
funny.
true. I can't confirm if that's something that was actually said, but it kind of sounds like something he would say, which
For sure. Yeah, the expression "keep the main thing is the first thing that jumps to my head. I've heard
right.
Georgia players say that more than once, and I feel like being on a documentary doesn't seem
Oh no,
like
that's not
that
the main
level
thing.
at all. But you know, I obviously love to see the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
They obviously let the SEC inside people
Mhm.
in there, so I don't know.
Yeah, very true.
But yeah, so let's check that out. The next thing, recruiting news. Anthony Lonin or Lunnin. We were
Yeah,
debating on how to pronounce it before the show started.
It's London.
Anthony Lunnin, the defensive lineman from Clark Central High School, committed to the G on Saturday, and that's now 31 commits for Georgia in this class. Big time 4-star commit there. And sir, what would you say? Well, first of all, any thoughts on Anthony Lennon committing to Georgia? What is your first thought?
It's always cool to have a local kid come here and stay in the great city of Athens. I believe his father played football for Georgia in the late '90s. I think he
got he played with Kirby.
His career short, but yeah, I think like both his parents went there. I think Anthony Lunnin. I looked at his huddle. I mean, and I'm not a scout, so I can't really break down anything crazy in his huddle. But what I did notice is just like he just plays with a relentless intensity. I'll say a very high motor.
Yeah. Just makes things happen.
Like a strong, quick kid. Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, this is you always want to keep your in city talent in the city. So I think it's a good get for Georgia that they could get this guy.
For sure. And Kirby Smart made a point that he doesn't do favors for anybody. This isn't some sort of legacy favor. This dude is got recruited to Georgia on his own merit. The amount that his mom was talking about academics, it's getting a little worried there about Georgia Tech, the other hat there on the table. But he chooses Georgia. And sir, over under, I guess that might not be the best way to describe this, but bear with me. Is it possible that Georgia's got their final commit of the 2026 class on August 2nd?
I mean, who's left, right?
I mean, it seems like all the targets are off the table. All the big time ones, they're sitting at 31 commits. I'm not sure how many guys people can take in classes anymore.
Lot, because nowadays you gotta leave like 15 spots for transfers too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could sign 35 a class. I mean, think about it. If you would, the kind of normal number was to sign 25 a class, and that's 100 people. So over the course of 4 years, an 85 scholarship limit, you're factoring in some attrition there. So I guess you could sign 40 players a class, get like 120 if we're going 105 scholarship players now.
Yeah, well, because nowadays, like so many kids transfer too, so there's even more, change year to year on the roster. I don't know, man. I feel like they're gonna randomly recruit one more kid. That's what I'll say.
You taking me over?
I think they will. I think some random kid at the 11th hour, some kid's gonna commit to Georgia. And it's like, what? I didn't even know they offered him.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure someone's going to decommit at some point, and then Georgia's going to, fill that spot or something like that. I saw recently that Miami, I guess, is making a push for Justice Fitzpatrick, and we've seen the kind of money Miami throws around in the portal and recruiting. So it's like, who knows? They could poach anyone at this point.
Yeah.
Also, definitely. Georgia Gal chimed in one more time. Appreciate you watching live to the show. Georgia Gal 12. I also worry about losing some of these cupcake games. They are so important for the smaller schools, and those games are sometimes the only way fans have the chance to see SEC games live.
Yeah.
I empathize with that, but at the same time, I just don't care about the cupcake games. So it's like, to me, it's like if your program has to play a game against Georgia or Alabama, or else you can't fund your program, then you probably shouldn't have a football program. Like, I don't know. Is that might be crude. But it's It's like you're just relying on just one game versus one of the big teams to fund your entire program. Like, I don't know. Maybe cut down on uniforms. How many alternate jerseys do you need?
Yeah, I think that's valid. Yeah, like, but I can empathize with, like, I mean, as a kid, the game that we would go to every year was whenever Georgia was playing, yeah, like Troy or UMass or something like that,
Yeah.
was App State. Like, that was the game that I would always get to go to. So I can definitely empathize with that. But also at the same time, like, I kind of do agree that, like, from an SEC team's point of view, like, why Georgia played UMass in November last year. Like, why was that allowed?
Yeah.
You know, at that point in the year, every game should be really important to you. And you should not be able to pay $500,000 to get a bye week that week, essentially, is what that was. And it's like,
Yeah.
so that's my
The November cupcakes are terrible.
yeah. Like, maybe one to start the year, see what you have, get all the kids on the field. Like, I get that. I know why a lot of these coaches at big programs love opening up with small opponents. But, like, once you're playing 2-3 cupcakes a year and you're a AAA program, I just don't think that's right. You should be punching punching more in your weight class, man, than that.
No, I'm with you. And I've been to these games. So like at a young age, these are the people who had season tickets. These are the ones they give away and you can't go to a lot of games. And I remember 2007, I went to the Troy game, and fun fact for you, Sean Marino set a career high in rushing yards each of his first 3 starts.
Yeah.
So he beat Vanderbilt was the first one, and the second start was that Florida game. And then where we went off the Gator Stomp and all that. And then the next one was Troy, and he ran for like 180 or something versus Troy. So I just remember that. So yeah, that is a game I went to at a young age because these games exist. But I don't know. I think these cupcake programs just need to start eating less avocado toast. I think that's what it is. They're just they're spending money irresponsibly. No,
Yeah.
I'm just joking. Just making a joke about that us millennials get. Sir, the top 2025 breakout players. This is our main topic of the night, and there are a lot of ones to choose from because this is the most unproven Georgia team I can remember. Like, you can make an argument that Nate Frazier could break out onto like the national scene or something and go for like 1,400 yards or something. But I think we know Nate Frazier is the starter, had a solid season. We're looking for more guys that have been at Georgia, not portal guys that we've seen, but guys that have been at Georgia just haven't really contributed yet. And this is the year that they make an impact on Georgia's team. So I don't know if you want to just go one by one or how you want to do it, or if you want to just start at the top of your list. But who are you going to start with?
I'll start with a guy on the defensive line, Jordan Hall, entering his junior season. Jordan Hall was, of course, a 5-star recruit in the 2023 signing class. Played a little bit freshman year. I mean, he was on the rotation a little bit, but you're just not going to get to play that much as a freshman on Georgia's defensive line generally. And then going into last season, he was expecting to have like more of a role, more of a legitimate rotational role on the defensive line. And he has a stress fracture in his leg that, keeps him out for like a lot of fall, I think spring too. I don't remember when the first one happened. But then I say the first one because then he had another one, like right when the season was about to start, in his other leg. So just like a brutal injury situation for him. And yeah, like, he's insanely talented. It's a position group that is pretty thin right now. Has 2 key players moving on in Nazir Stackhouse and Warren Brinson. So I just think there's a very clear path to him becoming a big time player on the defensive line. It's like they have Christian Miller in the middle, but then it's like they need another guy.
Yeah, I'm kind of
on the team. Sorry.
Oh, we got Ned
Like
Underwood.
Nashua Tuttle is a breakout guy, but he plays for Purdue now, so we
That's
can't
true.
really
He's
say
not
that.
going to break out. How about Jeremy Bell, the walk-on, apparently the best basketball player on Georgia's team? I would be
Jeremy Bell is gonna
surprised.
break out.
I mean, so many people have talked about him. I'd be surprised if he cracked this rotation just because we're talking like 6 deep right now at the receiver position. We'll just going off Ned's point here. If I'm picking a receiver to break out, obviously we're going to cancel out Dylan Bell and Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas and Colby Young. After that, like London Humphrey is a guy who still hasn't broken out.
That would
Like
be
a
it.
Sokovie White, I think, is a guy who hasn't broken. And he's just a second year guy, right? Sokovie White is a true freshman last year.
Yeah, he might. I think he might be a redshirt sophomore this year.
Okay, so like I would probably pick one of them ahead of a guy like Jeremy Bell, because then you also talk about some of these freshmen like CJ Wiley and Taylon Taylor were the big time recruits. Yeah. But what's his name? Thomas Blackshear is a guy who's getting some buzz with what he's done in practice. So if a walk-on like Jeremy Bell was able to, and maybe he's gotten a scholarship since they went to 105 scholarships, I don't know. But I'd be surprised if he was a guy who cracked the lineup this year.
Well, also, like a true freshman can't be a breakout player because, like, what are you breaking out from?
Oh, is he a true freshman?
I'm pretty sure he was. He is, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure he's a true freshman. So it's like, you can't break out, man. You were in high school last year.
That's fair. But staying on your point on the defensive line, I think that's where we just have to have a breakout guy. Mm-hmm. And you went 2020 to the 2023 class. So this Jordan Hall's, this is going to be his 4th year
it'll be
on campus. But yeah, 4th year in the program. I'm going with Joseph Jonah Ajonye from the 2024 class. So he's in, maybe it's just because I've been burned by Jordan Hall because we were all like waiting for this guy.
Jordan Hall has not gotten a chance to play yet.
Of course. It's not his fault. Absolutely. It's been injuries. But it's like once a guy just keeps getting injured, then you're just kind of like, can I rely on him? You know? And so he's entering his 4th year and he really hasn't played much. So Joseph Jonah Ajonye is a similar situation. Like injuries have held him back to this point, but that's just 1 year. The injury held him back in 2024. Going in his 2nd year on campus, I think Joseph Jonah Ajonye. I don't know the way people talk about him. He's the defensive lineman I think that excites me most in terms of guys already on the roster, not guys not named Elijah Griffin because they can't say enough about Elijah Griffin.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I guess he is kind of a Jordan Hall type of situation where it's like 5-star guy with all the hype in the world who just seems to vanish into thin air the second he gets on campus. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we've done this. Like we can sit here all day naming potential breakout guys on the defensive line because it's like you said, for their survival as a defense this year, they need someone to break out and to emerge, you know, like we have a pretty good idea of who Christian Miller is. We know he's going to be a very good player for them. But then it's like Elo Madozi transfer, you know, Gabe Harris, guy who's been a backup, but, you know, hasn't really been a starter yet. And then it's like a bunch of young guys. It's Quintavious Johnson. It's, you know, Jonah Ajonye. Like, we just don't know, man. But yeah, Joseph Jonah Ajonye is, I mean, just a freak of nature. I think that's the thing you always hear people say about him is like, the guy was just built in the lab. One of those guys Georgia always seems to get. So if he can stay healthy and get on the field, I mean, I think all those guys are going to get a chance to separate themselves from the pack, you know, because they're just going to need someone to do it. So time will tell, man.
For sure. Staying on the defensive side of the ball, I think the easiest one that probably me and you would have, the first guy I wrote on my list at least is Chris Cole. I feel like Chris Cole, there's no one, and he's almost, I feel like he's talked about so much. He almost feels like he's already broken out. Like there's sometimes those guys that haven't started yet, but just everyone knows how good they are. It feels like he's the worst kept secret on Georgia's roster. Like I've heard Rusty Mansell talk about like of the current roster Georgia has, like he's going to be like the highest drafted one. Like he is just an absolute freak. And maybe linebacker that could hurt him. Linebackers don't always get drafted highest, but
he doesn't have to be
That's true. He could be an edge rusher. I don't know what exactly Chris Cole is, but he's my number one player I'm most excited to see. Upgrade to a single digit as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's major. That's a
I'm
big
amped to
deal.
see Chris Cole.
Yeah, I am too. I honestly didn't even consider him to be a breakout candidate because it's like I wasn't even thinking about him as one just because it's like, yeah, we think he's gonna be so good. You know, how can it be a breakout if he's gonna be this good? But I
That's
agree. I
fair.
mean, it'll be really cool to see like. But also, I'm probably wrong in saying that because I'm sitting here acting like he has a whole season of starting tape under his belt when really the sample size is just much lower than that. It's just me being like, "Oh wow, that was sick. This guy's gonna be sick."
Yeah, you probably look at the stats. He probably played in like 12 games
Yeah,
or
no,
something last
his
year.
stats are probably not even that crazy from last year. If you just look at his box score numbers, and you'd be like, "Why are they hyping this guy up so much?" But
Yeah, and
yeah,
he
I
did
can't
play in
wait.
14 games.
I can't wait just to see what they do with him, man. I mean, I feel like it's a little scary. You don't want to have a guy that's just like in a, you know, an NFL Isaiah Simmons where it's like, oh, he could play any position, but he's not that good at any of them. Like, so you don't want that. You don't want to go too far into the versatility bucket because it will just kind of screw you in the end. But man, like if they can figure out a way to just deploy this guy and tell him go make plays, um, whether that's at off ball linebacker or as an edge rusher or like some weird combination of the two or something, some type of Jalen Walker role that,
Yeah.
we saw that do that with him and then he won the Buckus Award. So, yeah, I'm really excited about Chris Cole. I expect it to be another year before they give him a Jalen Walker-esque workload for sure because Jalen Walker didn't get that until his junior year, and he was a guy who had way more tape than Chris Cole did. So, yeah, it'll be fun to watch Chris Cole for sure.
I think Jalen Walker was in a little more crowded position room. To be fair, I think I think it took a minute for Jalen Walker to get on the field. I think Georgia is going to need Chris Cole to get on the field year two. Yeah, maybe Justin Williams would be more of a breakout because he hardly played at all last year. Chris Cole kind of was in those third down packages,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just really excited to see him. The other guy I wrote on defense, and maybe this is just me, being the stargazer, but we all want to see Ellis Robinson in the secondary, right? Number one for a reason, right?
Yeah. We talked about Ellis Robinson a pretty good bit last week too, so I won't regurgitate too much of what I said, but yeah, man, I mean, that is one of those guys who, I mean, he moves differently, there's something, I'm sure it's a lot of me just kind of making it up in my head that he's a superstar before I actually see it, but there's like the way that, he got into the end of the game against. It was some game kind of early last year, and he had a play where he just followed the receiver stride for stride, track the ball, knock it down, and it was like, yeah, man, like that guy, he looks ready. And I get that he wasn't ready, and if he was, he would have played. But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, how can you not want to see the number one, like one of the highest rated cornerback prospects of all time get on the field? The number 2 player in the country out of high school he was. I mean, I have a hard time believing that he will not get some sort of serious snaps this year somewhere.
Yeah, especially like with how good Jeremiah Smith was a year ago, and it's just high school stuff, but it's like that was like the talk coming out of like the opening was that like the Ellis Robinson, Jeremiah Smith going at each other pretty much. So he obviously got the best of him at times. Jeremiah Smith, I'm sure, won some reps as well. And like we're talking about this guy like he's the greatest receiver the world has ever seen. And I'm not even saying he's overrated. He might be.
He might be the best receiver we've ever seen.
Yeah, he really might be. So Ellis Robinson, if he can go toe to toe with that guy, he's got to be good enough to get on the field for the Bulldogs.
Decent.
Is there anyone on offense that you think kind of hasn't broken out yet that you see breaking out in 2020?
Yeah. I mean, okay, well, the easy one is Gunnar Stockton, but I know that doesn't really count. I still think he kind of is, but I won't say Gunnar Stockton. I will say I think Colby Young, honestly.
Okay.
Because I mean, we all know what happened with Colby Young's legal situation and everything, but in the 5 games or so that he played last year, he really did look like a legit, outside big body X receiver who can, win jump balls and win one-on-ones and things like that.
That
And
Javon Wims role.
yeah, exactly. And once you saw him get suspended and he didn't play for the rest of the year, like Georgia didn't have that in their offense at all. The other guy that was supposed to do that for them was Ra Thomas, who also got arrested and kicked off the team. So that was a huge loss for them, was just not having anyone on the boundary that they can kind of just trust to throw the ball up to and make a play. Every guy they had was a speedster or a route technician or whatever, and none of them could catch the ball. So I think Colby Young returning just adds a player to a type of player to Georgia's offense that they just didn't really have last year. So he could be pretty huge for them because you could kind of see, he was really starting to build a rapport with Carson Beck.
Yeah.
Before everything went down the way it did last year.
Had a 47 catch season at Miami in 2023. So I'll have to go to the judges, see if we can count that as a breakout player. I don't know, but no, he had 11 for 149 and 2 touchdowns last year in 5 games. Yeah, we've talked about before, like that interception Beck threw on that final drive in the end zone. Like he was going to Colby Young in the end zone in a massive situation, right? It was like 30 seconds left in that game or whatever it was. So I think Colby Young should definitely be one of the go-to guys in this offense this year. Maybe this is I feel like he's contributed. I still can't think he's broken out yet, but obviously like maybe a Jaden Riddell or something would be a better breakout candidate. Someone who we legit have not seen play yet. But I really think Lawson Lucky is like a legit receiving threat. Like Oscar Delp feels like just your kind of typical solid tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't not to disrespect Oscar Delp. No. Lawson Lucky seems like he moves like a receiver. Like he seems like a legit receiving weapon, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him. Maybe he doesn't lead the team in catches or yards or anything, but he's up there in touchdowns or something, or he's up there in yards. Like maybe he's averaging 15 yards a catch or something. I think he averaged something like that. 14 and a half last year. So I don't know. Lawson Lucky, I think there's a lot more left on the bone with Lawson Lucky. Mm-hmm. I think we could see a bigger year from him.
I agree. I think his best Georgia season is definitely ahead of him for sure. Honestly, Oscar Delp, is definitely more of your classic inline tight end.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's probably going to have more touchdowns than Lawson Lucky just because he always seems to get the ball in those goal line red zone situations. I mean, he had 4 touchdowns in the last few games of last year, and they were all from the 5 because he was just vulturing touchdowns left and right. So, but yeah, I absolutely think Lawson Lucky could be one of the premier receiving threats on the team. It's always tough. Like these guys that are in the wake of Brock Bowers are just going to always have insane expectations for what they can be as a tight end. But Lucky, I think, is definitely the best receiving option they've had at tight end since Brock Bowers. I know they've only had a couple.
Yeah, it's a short list.
And I know that sounds like some insane comparison, but it's I mean, he can definitely really emerge. He's always been a guy who goes crazy in camp and has great camp reviews and everything. And this year, he's actually going to be. I feel like he's going to be on the field a lot. Georgia Delp, I guess, would definitely be their tight end 1, but they run so many 2 tight end sets anyway that their 2 tight ends are going to be him and Lucky again. So,
yeah, exactly. And notice the 2 words I didn't say when talking about Lawson Lucky were Brock and Bowers. I'll just leave that alone. But I think he could be a really good receiving threat. And then I feel the need to bring up the last one because. My buddy Chase Thomas on the Chase Thomas podcast, a big Tennessee fan. We were talking about Roderick Robinson and what Georgia, if Georgia needs Roderick Robinson. My thought was he's definitely a candidate to break out, and I want him to break out, but he feels more like what I was saying with Jordan Hall. Once guys are injured multiple times, it's I think he looks the part. I get real excited when I see Roderick Robinson. He's absolutely shredded. And we've seen a little bit what he can do. I think he's set records. I think in California, high school rushing. I guess was it a single season record or something? I think he set his senior year. So obviously this dude can ball. I just maybe the injuries are making me timid about my expectations of Roderick Robinson, but I think he's definitely a candidate. I don't know that Georgia even needs Roderick Robinson to have a really good offense this year. He feels like he'd be like more of a cherry on top. Like, wow, we have 3 running backs this good. Like, I feel like with just Frazier and Josh McCray, Georgia could have kind of what it needs in the backfield, and Cash Jones, his experience as well. Don't want to forget him.
Yeah, I think Georgia wouldn't have gone out to get Josh McCray if they felt like they could rely on Roderick Robinson to be like that power back, because they're built basically the same. They're very similar types of runners and very similar types of players. And I feel like Georgia knew that like you needed to have that power back element in your offense. And they had a guy who, on their team for a couple of years, highly recruited kid who is built to carry that workload. And I think they just looked at him and they said, it's unfortunate, but this guy's just always injured, and we can't rely on him to be like that one guy that we have going in the season. So I don't know
that guy being Branson Robinson.
No, Roderick Robinson. Like that move to get Josh McCray, I think, because they went out and got McCray. Like they already knew Branson was in the portal. I think they would have been fine to sit there and just let Roderick take over that role if they felt comfortable with it. But I think the injury is what made them go out and get McCray.
Yeah, because I feel like I almost feel the exact same way about Roderick Robinson and Branson Robinson. He's 1 year older, right? Branson was the 2022 class. So I kind of feel like if Roderick Robinson has a 2024 Branson Robinson season, he's probably in the portal next year, So I will say I think they might be same height and weight. I would be surprised if Josh McCray is built like Roderick Robinson. This dude is huge, honestly. I've just seen the pictures come out of practice, but
he is insane.
No disrespect to Josh McCray. They're both he seems a little more bowling ball-ish. But yeah, definitely that power back role, both about 6 feet 240. So hey, hopefully we get all 3 of them. It's the SEC. Injuries are always going to happen, especially at the running back position. Maybe Chauncey Bowens is a guy who steps up. Maybe Bo Walker, the true freshman, steps up. But it'd be nice if Roderick Robinson were to stay healthy and be Georgia's 3rd leading rusher with like 400 or 500 yards or something this year.
Yeah, that would be a crazy development. If Roderick Robinson ends up being a valuable part of the backfield, I'd be very pleasantly surprised. I'm kind of already writing him off. I just feel like when a running back deals with chronic injuries like this in college, at the college level, it's just like a death sentence so many times. But maybe not. Maybe Roderick Robinson is just a different beast, and he overcomes all of this. That would certainly be awesome.
Not to put you on the spot, but do you know what his injuries are?
He had like a really weird toe thing for a long time. Like they kept saying last year that like he wasn't playing because he had like turf toe, but like it wasn't turf toe. I don't think. Like it had to have been something else, because turf toe is like a week to week thing, and I think he had an ankle at one point that like he's had a bunch of foot stuff primarily.
So yeah,
I had a class with him last fall. And every day I would like check to see if he was still in a boot, and he was in a boot like every day.
That's funny. So it says he missed the 11 games 2024 due to a toe injury. He underwent surgery on a broken ankle at some point. Was that this spring? So this spring he missed so he missed spring with an ankle. So I don't know. It's hard for me he's looked really good at times when he's been healthy, but it's hard for me to put too much in him. But if there was a candidate in that running room to break out, I think he could be a candidate.
Yeah. And I think absolutely. I mean, he has all the talent. It's just injury luck has just killed him, man.
Yeah, and Gunnar Stockton, obviously, like you said, that's the easy one.
Yeah.
He's going to be the starting quarterback. He's going to start more than
Most
one game this year. Knock on wood, assuming
probably.
all things go
start
well.
games.
Hopefully it's not like that Aaron Rodgers that
Oh my god, dude!
that prop bet. What was like not DraftKings, Prize Picks.
Yeah, it was like free
over
bet,
under 0.5.
over 1 yard.
And he gets hurt and it's gone. But yeah, so those are the breakout candidates we see for the 2025 season. Anything else you'd like to add, Bo?
Man, I'm trying to save it. I think I gotta save it for next week. Right.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like we said earlier, next Monday, Mondays at 7:00 moving forward to check us out live. Appreciate everyone who chimed in, everyone who's joining on the chat. Feel free to jump in there and we'll talk about it on the show. So that's all I've got. Until next time, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.